Been a little negligent on the favorite books reviews lately. At the moment, I'm actually 3 books behind. Like, the book I'm going to review today, I am 3 books down the list as far as my reading is concerned. As such, I'm going to be filming 3 favorite books reviews right now, and you'll probably be bombarded with them over the period of the next few days, so be prepared for that. But the first of those, today's favorite book review looks at the development of one of my favorite literary heroines, A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett. This book is basically just a 3-act character development. In the first 5 or 6 chapters of the novel, we are introduced to this little girl named Sarah Crewe. Sarah Crewe is remarkable. She's clever, she's kind, she's a little strange, but overall remarkable. Sarah is also very rich. Her father, Captain Crewe, loves her so much that no extravagance will be spared. So she's pretty spoiled, and yet she doesn't let it go to her head. She's perfectly happy to share everything that she has, and in particular she shows kindness to 3 people who are not ordinarily shown kindness to. And the book actually does an interesting thing here with the character of Lavinia, who is essentially the school bully. Lavinia is every bit as rich and spoiled as Sarah is, but the difference is that Lavinia has definitely let it go to her head. She is a brat and a bully, and just in general a really, really mean person. So Lavinia shows us what Sarah could be if she were not as good a person as she is. But one of the main themes that runs through this book is what makes a person who they are. Sarah even asked a question: if my circumstances were completely different, completely opposite to what they are, would I still be the same person? And no sooner does she ask that question than that exact thing happens. Sarah's father dies deeply in debt, and therefore Sarah is left with nothing. She has no relatives, no money, she has nothing. Sarah has been dropped off at this boarding school run by Miss Mention, and she now must work as a servant at this school. And so in the second act of the story, we see Sarah struggle with this new life and struggle with her sense of self. See, that's the other thing about Sarah. She really likes to pretend and imagine things and make up stories. But when she becomes poor, it becomes harder and harder for her to do this. When her friends are around, she can do it. When they're not, she can't. She gets stuck in this reality that she's a part of now. And we get to see her character slowly start to gain that sense of self back. This really is character development at its best. Burnett established this character, this rich, interesting character that would have been just fascinating all on its own. And then she took that character and put her into a situation that was completely opposite of what she was used to. And throughout the rest of the book, we get to see how Sarah Crewe deals with this new situation and how her character changes because of that new situation. One of the things I like about this book is Sarah's growing relationship with her friend Ermengarde. At the beginning, Ermengarde was basically just in awe of Sarah. She didn't see Sarah so much as an equal as she saw her as some sort of great goddess. And first of all, Ermengarde risks punishment by going to see her, and so she's showing some bravery and initiative because of that. But also, when Ermengarde visits Sarah, Sarah tries to kind of protect her from the truth. The truth of Sarah's poverty and her extreme hunger and all of that would be just too hard for her simple-minded friend, and so she decides to just pretend that everything is okay. But eventually the truth comes out. Sarah has to confess to Ermengarde that things are really, really bad, and Ermengarde responds with the actions of a true friend. She doesn't pity Sarah, she doesn't draw away from Sarah, she says, okay, what can I do to help? I've got all this food in my room that I have been keeping. If I had known that you were hungry, I would have given it to you. And she runs off to go get it. And Sarah learns something too. She learns that she doesn't have to protect Ermengarde. She learns that Ermengarde isn't like other people, and she learns that Ermengarde really is a stronger person than she gave her credit for. A lot of people have called this story a modern-day fairy tale, and that's really what it is. I mean, okay, it was published in the early 20th century, so maybe calling it a modern-day fairy tale is a bit of a stretch now, but compared to the other fairy tales, it certainly is. In a lot of ways, this is basically a Cinderella story. Sarah goes from being very rich to very poor, and then she fights her way past the poverty, and the book does have a fairy tale ending. The difference is that this protagonist actually has character development. And good stuff doesn't just happen to Sarah, it happens to Sarah because of the effect that she had on all the people around her. About halfway through the book, the plot starts to get very, very intricate. In fact, a lot of the book really does read like a bunch of short stories, kind of like a lot of the children's books that I've reviewed lately. But they all connect and they all come together at the end, and it's all because of the effects that Sarah has had on people and the relationships that she has built through her kindness. Like I said before, Sarah Crew really is one of my favorite literary heroines. And so A Little Princess is definitely one of my favorite books, and it actually inspired one of my all-time favorite movies in 1995, and yes, there will be a Books vs. Movies review on that. So I won't say more here about A Little Princess because I'm going to be going much more in depth about it in that review, but for now I will say that A Little Princess is definitely still a favorite. And the next book on the favorites list is Tuck Everlasting by Natalie Babbitt, where I'll be wearing pretty much the same shirt. See you next time.